My boy Jeremy, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around from Monday, January 28th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week, I watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups, and we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Ready to
Yeah,
get into this Monday.
I'm ready just to kind of jump in this slate. Got got a quick little 5 game slate. Get in and get out. So if you're ready to go, I'm about ready to go as well. Real quick before we jump into this, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second for me. Click the like button down below. Helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, man, if you're ready, let's just jump into these games. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. First game we're going to go is going to be the New York Knicks going into Charlotte to face the Hornets. This game has a 221.5 over under, and Charlotte's favored by 12 in this one.
I'm just going to tell you right now that this is as chalky as you're going to see a Knicks player all year with Trey Burke. They've got no other point guards. They've got Nicolina sprained his ankle last night. He is out. We already know Moutier's out for a couple of weeks. The point guard they've got is Trey Burke, right? So, after Nicolina got injured last night, he put up 18 fantasy points, and that was what he pretty much did for the night last night. But this is going to be a pretty chalk spot. Other than that, it's very hard to depend on Knicks. It's very hard to figure out what they're going to do with them. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm fine with any of these 5 guys in cash. If you want to take a look at Trier in cash, if you want to take a look at Mitchell Robinson, I'm sorry, in tournaments. If you want to take a look at Trier in tournaments, Mitchell Robinson in tournaments, fine. Even Courtney Lee. Outside of that, the only guy you can really secure minutes with is Burke.
Yeah, man. And then on the Charlotte side of things, one thing we got to keep an eye out for, Kemba Walker is a game time decision. If Kemba Walker was ruled out and Tony Parker was going to be the starting point guard and going to play 25 to 30 minutes at a 3,700 price tag going against the Knicks, I definitely think that Tony Parker would be a really, really good play. So that's some news that you got to keep an eye on throughout the day. Outside of that, I mean, you got to like Jeremy Lamb, 5,900. He's been one of the more consistent guys on the Charlotte Hornets side of things. You can look at Batum as a strictly GPP play, 5,000. You need 25 for value. We know that Batum has 25 fantasy point upside, and he's got us at least 27 fantasy points in 3 of the past 4. So I think that you can look at Batum as a GPP play. Outside of that, I'm not really going to mess with the Marvin Williams or a Biyombo. So it's just going to be, pay attention to the Kemba Walker news. If he's out, you can look at Tony Parker, Lamb, Batum. I'm ready to move on.
Moving.
Cool. Next game we're going to go is going to be the Golden State Warriors going into Indiana to face the Pacers. This game has a 227.5 over under, and Golden State's favored by 8.5 in this one.
I must be the only person out here because every time I look when I'm saying play Boogie, other people aren't on him. Like that, I look at other sites, other spots, there people aren't on him. I mean, his price was 6,200 the other day, put up 34.1 fantasy points, just short of a 6x figure. I mean, the guy's playing 20 to 23 minutes and he's putting up 30 fantasy points. So it's going to be a matter of time. This is another spot again at 7.2. I don't mind playing him. Not one bit at this price because he can get you 40 fantasy points. And it's just going to be a matter of when his minutes get pushed up to 25, 26, 27 minutes. He's playing extremely efficient. And with each game he plays in, you can see the guy just get closer and closer to finding a rhythm. He's knocking down threes. He's passing the ball extremely well. And Miles Turner is not a match for Boogie Cousins. He's just not. So Steph Curry, very fair price at 9.6. Continue to play Kevin Durant at nine under $10,000 price tag. 9.5 against Boston. He's 9.8 here. I think that's another extremely fair price. And the last guy, Klay Thompson, like I said, this guy's 35 fantasy points, man. Like that seems to be like what Klay Thompson kind of just goes out and puts out. He goes out there, puts up 30, 35, 38, 40 fantasy points on a nightly basis. He's in play as well. Iguodala playing some of the best basketball of his life. He's also in play, and then Kevin Looney is still playable with Boogie Cousins on a minutes limit.
Yeah, man. I mean, on the Indiana side of things, Oladipo's out. There's not really There's not a lot that really stands out to me. I mean, you start with Derek Carlson. Derek Carlson's been playing very, very well. He's a guy whenever Oladipo's out the lineup, he tends to play better. He tends to get a lot more assists and stuff. You can see the past 3 games, he's got you at least 8 assists, at least 36 fans. I'm sorry, at least 34 fantasy points. So I definitely think that Derek Carlson is in play. In this matchup, up tempo game against the Warriors. And then I mean, you can think about it is you would think with Oladipo out, it would be like a guy like Tyreek Evans that would step in and ball out. And he's been starting, but he just hasn't been doing nothing special. Definitely think you can look at Tyreek Evans strictly GPP. You can also look at Bojan Bogdanovic. They need him to score the ball. He gets very, very consistent minutes, so you could consider Bogdanovic as well. With the big guys on Indiana, I don't know. I don't really like the big guys because they're going to be going against Draymond. They're going to be going against Cousins. They're even going to be going against Looney when Looney comes off the bench. All those guys are fairly good defenders, big guys. So I mean, you can look at a Sabonis, a Thaddeus Young, or a Turner in GPP, but they don't really excite me. I think the main guys, really, honestly, to look at are Carlson, Bogdanovic, and maybe a little bit of Tyreek Evans in GPP. You could throw in Corey Joseph. His just minutes are just so up and down. That's kind of what oohs me about Joseph.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Next game we're going with is going to be Brooklyn Nets going into Boston to face the Celtics. This game has a 223.5 over under, and Boston's favored by 10.5 in this one.
So there's just a lot to look at here, right? I mean, Joe Harris, game time decision at this point. Travion Graham, he's a game time decision at this point. Alan Crabb could come back, game time decision at this point. So we need to wait and see what's going to unfold here. Outside of the news, right, and what impact that has on other guys like, Busta Napier, DeMar Carroll, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. D'Angelo Russell seems to be the one spot, right? I mean, coming off an absolute turd he dropped the other night in a pretty popular spot. This is a good chance to bounce back. He has had good games against Boston in the past. I don't know if this guy's a lock in cash games, but he's definitely a really good tournament play. I don't mind playing 8.4 for him, especially after a dud. I'm not interested in Jared Allen, not in this spot. Look, I've recommended the guy in the past, Karukas, not really interested in him either. This is an interesting game to me that you're gonna have to wait for news to see what the opportunity is going to be and how big the rotation is going to be when you start looking at guys outside of D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, man. And on the Boston side of things, I mean, we talk about it. They're just some teams. We always say it about Miami, and we always say it about Boston. They just have a logjam right now. Everybody's back and healthy, including Horford at the center position. I mean, they pretty much got 2 really good players at every single position, point guard through center. I mean, they're built that way, and hey, it's a really good build. You need depth if you want to win playoff games. So I'm not blaming the coach at all for the depth they have, but fantasy-wise, it really doesn't do much for us. I mean, 10.5 is a very steep price for Kyrie Irving. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy could definitely hit value, but I just really don't want to pay this price tag on a Kyrie Irving in a game that I definitely think could get out of hand. If you really feel it's a blowout, you could take a shot on like a Terry Rozier, take a shot on like a Jaylen Brown, thinking that they're going to get some garbage time minutes. But, I mean, honestly, Boston really is just kind of a logjam that I'm not really looking at. The one guy you can look at, Marcus Morris, 5.3, continues to be a very good price tag. I definitely think that you could consider him in cash games. The price tag is just too cheap. You need 26 for value. But all these other guys, I really don't know what to do to Boston. If you got, anything on Boston, feel free to chime in, bro.
No, I mean, when you look at Boston, the only thing you can guarantee really is that Kyrie Irving is going to get his minutes, right? That's the one thing you can guarantee right now. And the thing I would add to that is do not expect their rotation to look like it looked Saturday night against the Warriors. I mean, that's right. That's a game that you're going to play more like a playoff game where you're going to tighten your rotation up because this is possibly a team you're going to see in the NBA Finals, and you're going to really test yourself against because that's a team playing at a high level. That doesn't mean that that's how you're going to play the rest of your season now, right? I mean, you're trying to see where you match up with your rotation or what your plan is at the moment and how you can adjust moving forward. So I don't expect to see that big of minutes out of Horford. We haven't seen those big minutes out of Horford consistently throughout the year. I wouldn't expect to see those consistently going forward, so don't count on that. But again, it goes back to pricing. Gordon Hayward, very fair priced. Rozier, very fair priced. Marcus Morris, very fair priced. Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. It's 10.5. I think it's too much. That's just what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, me too. For sure, for sure. Yeah, let's move on. Next game we're gonna go with is gonna be the Denver Nuggets going into Memphis to face the Grizzlies. This game has a 208.5 over under, and Denver's favored by 6 in this one.
Look, man, they've got guys out too, right? Jamal Murray's out. We know Will Barton. We know Gary Harris. They've tried to keep them somewhat on a minutes restriction. More Gary Harris than Will Barton, obviously. So they've got stuff going on. I mean, look, Monte Morris to me is the reason why you can question playing a D'Angelo Russell today, because there is no Jamal Murray. We know what Monte Morris has done without Jamal Murray. Malik Beasley, same spot, right? 2 shooting guard plays I think will be pretty popular tonight without Jamal Murray there. Torrey Craig will get to start. But if you take a look at production-wise, what these guys do, Monte Morris has the better stat line. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
He has the better upside. I mean, Monte Morris, when he gets minutes, the guy can score the basketball. Malik Beasley's a good player too. So all 3 of these guys, very fair price for what the opportunity is going to be tonight. You know, Torrey Craig, he's averaging 28 minutes already. He's 4.7. You know, Monte Morris 4.1. All these guys are in play. And then without a point guard on the floor, you have to take a look at Jokic and his price tag of 11.4 is the guy you're going to pay up for on this slate because of the fact he's going to dish the basketball, right? I said to you the other night, I said on Saturday, I think it was, I said, man, watch Jokic. He's going to go nuts tonight because Murray's questionable. And I think he put up 71, right? So, you know, you have to take a look at you got to take a look at Jokic. I think he's the premier pay up guy on this slate. I mean, because there's no Jamal Murray, he's going to dish the basketball and the offense is going to run through him.
Yeah, and then I mean on the Memphis side of things, you look at the obvious guys. You got Mike Conley, 8.3. You said it. You know, Denver doesn't have a real point guard. I think this is a spot that Mike Conley could definitely have a really good game. You know, and then you got Marc Gasol. He's going to have to be on the floor banging against Jokic. They're going to need him out there. Otherwise, Jokic is going to eat him alive. So I do think this is a spot where Marc Gasol gets up and he's going to accept the challenge and he's going to have a solid game. So whenever you look at Memphis, you look at their 2 stars, and Conley and Jokic. And then 2 guys you can look at for GPP. You can look at a Justin Holiday at 4,900, and you can look at Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. 6,500 price tags up a little bit. So, you know, for me, strictly GPP. But that's really it, man. You look, like I said, cash games, you can look at Gasol or Conley. I think that both of them are safe for cash. GPP, Jaren Jackson, Justin Holiday, kind of move on.
I agree.
Cool. Final game of the slate, we're going to look at the Atlanta Hawks going into LA to face the Clippers. This game has a 232.5 over under. And the Clippers are favored by 6.5 in this one.
You know, I mean, this is one of those games, man, where I'm not really interested in any of the Atlanta players, but I realize that 113 points are going to be scored. At least Vegas thinks that's going to happen. So where's it going to come from? Trae Young scares me with Patrick Beverley and Avery Bradley on this team. I mean, the guy has a propensity to turn the basketball over. And he's not shooting very well. He's, you know, 30% shooter on the season so far. He's not shooting very well, taking a ton of tough shots. I know he had a really good game the other night, Saturday night, but this is a tough spot for me to recommend playing anybody on Atlanta. I got to figure out where I think this is going to come from based on matchups. You know, John Collins never seems to put up the monster game, right? I mean, would you agree with that? Where's the monster game out of John Collins? You know, where's the 60-point game? Right. So it's hard for me to get John Collins. Herder, 4.6, seems like a fair price for what he kind of does, 20 to 24 fantasy points. So, you know, I'm not really interested at this point in Atlanta players. At some point, it's the last – I'll be honest with you, it's the last game on the slate. I will get exposure to this game in a lot of my tournaments just because that's the way I play. I just don't know where it's going to come from. I'm just being honest from Atlanta right now.
Yeah, on the Clipper side of things, I mean, I'm going to start with Patrick Beverley, 4.6. You know, the guy's been playing very, very well. 4.6, we need about 23, 24 for value. And as you can see, in 3 of the past 5 games, he's got you at least 33, which is 6, 7x on his fantasy points. He's got you almost 10x on this price tag as well a couple of times already in the past 5 games. The guy's been playing very well. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's a guy that Doc Rivers is pretty much like, look, man, I'm just going to throw you out there and just do your thing. Obviously, Beverly can't, shoot the ball very well. He does get hot occasionally, and he will knock down some three-pointers, but he does a little bit of everything. He fills up the stat sheet. And like you said, he's a really good defender, and Trae Young, he can get careless with the ball. This could be a game where Patrick Beverly gets 3 or 4 steals. I could see that from him if he's going to be out there a ton. So I definitely think he's a solid play, gives you a solid floor at 4.6. Then you can look at Lou Williams, 7.1. It's not a give me price tag anymore, but Lou Williams has been playing very, very well. Honestly, I don't know if this is the Lou Williams game because I like playing Lou Williams in a game where they're playing a really good team, where it's going to come all the way down to the end of the game where they're going to need scoring. That's kind of a Lou Williams game. This game,
didn't that just happen against Atlanta in Atlanta with these two teams? Am I tripping? I could swear
it happened earlier in the year on November 19th.
Okay.
Lou Williams actually had a monster game. I mean, 16, 7, and 11 for 38 fantasy points. So I'm not saying that he's a bad player. Just at a 7.1 price tag, it just gives you something to think about a little bit more, where if it's a blowout, he's not going to get those 30, 35 minutes. He's going to probably get 27 minutes because he's going to play a little bit. He's not going to play that much in the fourth. So I like Lou Williams. I'm not saying he's a bad play. I'm just, the price tag is up. I mean, that's really where I'm at with Lou Williams. If you can get him in, though, hey, why not get him in for sure? Small forward, you can look at Tobias Harris. He's been playing very well. You can look at Harrell as well, 7,000. Definitely think both of those guys are in play. But that's really it for me, man. It's just you can look at Beverly. You can look at you can look at Lou Williams, look at Harris, look at Harrell. And if you want to get really, really kind of off the board, you can look at a Gillis Alexander at 3,800 as a drop spot play. But that's it, man. I mean, Avery Bradley, he's just not really producing the way that I expected him to produce this year.
The problem is, to be honest with you, the best play to me, the best the tournament play on this team right now is Avery Bradley at 3.9 because he's playing 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes right now. So you're getting 40 minutes at almost a dollar per minute is if it was fantasy points, you'd say he's a fantasy point per minute player, right? Well, he's a minute per dollar player basically right now, and the guy plays he's like Kemba Walker. He plays way better at home than he does anywhere else. And if the guy knocks down 2 or 3 threes, then he has a huge night. He'll have like 25, 30 fantasy points.
Right.
But I think he's a great tournament play in this spot because I think him and Patrick Beverly are the two that I'm the most interested in. I love Tobias Harris at the small forward spot. Obviously, I'll keep playing him there, but I think Beverly and Bradley are so interesting to me in tournaments tonight as your late drop spot with him and then late value with Beverly. Super interesting upside plays.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I definitely agree. Hey, it's not the prettiest slate. I definitely will say that. This slate could really get out of hand quickly. There's almost every single game has blowout, pretty much blowout potential in it. So be careful. But, hey, at the end of the day, we still play every single night. So I hope that this video helped you guys out. Quick little 5-game breakdown of who me and Jeremy are looking at, team by team. I will be back a little bit later with my NBA core plays for the day. And Jeremy and I will be back later on, an hour before lock, with our NBA live segment, answering all your guys' questions. So make sure you guys have your notifications turned on so you don't miss out any of our videos. Yeah, man, that's it. Hey, if we don't talk to you before then, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, and peace out.